So hi, my name is Simon. I'm a cybersecurity engineer and active cybersecurity practitioner. I do a lot of research in cybersecurity. I'm a certified cloud and network security engineer. And with this saying, my OS of preference is Kali Linux. It's the OS I prefer using for security, but there are others like Parrot and Arch Linux. You can also use them for security, but my preference is Kali Linux since it's the first OS I used for security and I've never found errors with it, or in simple terms, I like it. And so there are these problems because for me, I run Windows and Kali Linux together on something called a dual boot. A dual boot is where you are running two operating system on the same machine, and what happens is you're not using a virtual machine or virtual box. What you're doing is when you open up the system, you have a grub bootloader where now you can select if it's Windows you're using or Kali Linux. And to select any other OS, you have to restart your machine, then you'll be prompted by the grub. And yes, I got into an issue with the grub after updating my Windows. So let's talk about what the grub is. So the grub is in full is a grand unified bootloader. It's a widely used bootloader in the Linux world. It is the initial program that kicks into action when you power on your machine, responsible for loading the operating system kernel into memory. And yes, what happened is that I was running Windows 11 and I was having major updates. So what happens with Windows and major updates is that sometimes those updates tend to change some of those settings, the BIOS settings. So it ends up corrupting the grab because when you're updating, Windows assumes that it's the main and the only operating system onto that machine, and it takes over the whole system, updating some of those resources. So rendering the grab unusable or rendering it corrupt to access, making it unable to access those operating systems. And yes, today that's exactly what we are going to do, and this video is dedicated to that. So watch and learn. So what I'll do is I'll restart my machine, then you'll see the problem I'm talking about. I'll do this. I'll restart. So at first I was a little bit worried. I've gotten into errors, but not specifically this one. Some of those errors were so persistent to a point that I had to restart, redo the installation, and at most of the times I lost my files. So when this one happened, I went on and researched, and it's funny that some of these things maybe occur from time to time, just that you've never encountered them. They might seem strange. So this is the first time I'm encountering this, though on a different level. I've encountered grab rescue, but today what we are doing. So this is the what where we are, and at this point you can only use the keyboard. And there's no cursor, there's no mouse. So what happens is that grab fails to the system fails to find where the grab is stored, and what we'll do, uh, and let me move the camera. And yeah, I think my camera has now focused well. As what we'll do, first of all, we use the command. On the grab rescue, we'll use the command ls. So ls tells us the partitions that are onto this drive. You can see we have HDO, GPT6, GPT5, GPT4, 3, 2, and 1. And what we do, you just narrow down to get the file where your Kali Linux is, the partition where your Kali Linux is installed into. And equally, you might be knowing the exact partition, so you don't need to go through the extra process. But I went through the whole process and found that my Linux was installed in the partition HDO GPT5. So let me just explain it to you using one that doesn't have and the HDO GPT5 so that you can see the difference. So I'll do this. I'll do this ls hd. Okay, I'll do this ls HDO, HDO, comma GPT4. Let's use GPT4 for this instance, GPT4. And you can see that it's saying file system is unknown because it's expecting the file system we are trying to check is the ext file system. A file system with an partition with the file system ext with the extension ext. So if I do the ls and then the brackets hdo comma GPT-5, then I close. You can see the response is different. Now it's recognizing that the system or the file system is an ex2 file system. So from there, what you do is now you find a way to get back to the grub, because the grub exists. What happens is that the system has been updated and it cannot load the grub. That's why you have the grub rescue to rescue the grub that is, let's say, trapped at a point. And what we'll do next is now, because we know the file partition or the file system where the grub is installed, or the partition I mean, I'll just do this. So we do the prefix. No, we do the set space prefix. Set the prefix. Set the prefix, then equal sign without putting a space. Open the bracket HDO comma GPT-5. Then you close that bracket. After closing that bracket, no spacing, you put slash, then boot, then you put a slash. After this slash, now you direct it to grab, boot, then grab. Now you can see that it's prompting us to enter another command. So you insert this command, ins mode without an e, ins mode normal. Now we are taking it back to normal. Then you see it's telling us unknown file system. It means we have, at some point we did a mistake, and the mistake is here. Instead of a comma, we entered a full stop, or rather you entered a full stop. Then just have to do it again, say prefix. And it's so sensitive to small errors, so make sure you are doing the right thing. I open the brackets, HDO, now comma, I've entered O instead of a 0, it's HD0, GPT-5, I close that bracket, slash boot slash grab with a new, and then ins mode, remember mode without an e, ins mode normal. Then now after that I enter the normal. Now you can see that I'm now able to load the grab, and from there you open your Kali Linux machine, then you go update the grab details, and after updating the grab details, your system will now be able to load again using the grab. And that's all about this video.